I'm Sheri Kasprzak with WTWH Media, and I'm here at Epicor Insights 2025 with Arturo Buzzalino. He is the Chief Innovation Officer with Epicor, and we're so honored to have you here with us today.
Thanks, Sheri. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
Thanks. Congratulations on Prism AI, the new agentic AI from Epicor. Tell us a little bit about the functionality.
So obviously, thank you for bringing that up. I mean, for us, we're really excited about the functionality. Prism AI, we view it as revolutionary. Actually, when we launched the initial version earlier this year in January, we were the first ERP, actually conversational ERP, to go to production in the world. So we were pretty proud about that. It was a lot of hard work and working with our customers and on specific use cases. But yeah, talking a little bit about what Prism is. So Prism is an agentic network built on large language models and reasoning models. So right now it's not our own models. So like we don't have our proprietary foundational models at Epicor, but instead what we do is we actually use off the shelf. So be it, whether we're using OpenAI, Anthropic, Mistral, whatever, right? And then we take those and we actually fine tune those models and using a method called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, and a combination of fine tuning. In some places we may do reinforced learning and things like that. And basically what we do is we teach the model the structure of the ERP. The beauty about what Epicor does and has been doing for decades is we, as an ERP company, we run the core of our customers, and our customers are distributors, manufacturers, and retailers in the mid-market. So it's basically most of the supply chain is in our kind of space or kind of customer profile. So what we like to say is, like, Prism is the agentic network for make, move, sell.
Right. Yeah. Run through some of the specific functions. If I'm on the plant floor, how am I using Prism AI?
Yeah. So the way that Prism AI works is we actually focus with our customers. In the beginning, we're beta customers. Now, obviously, are paying customers, production customers. We actually do it in a way that may seem counter to scalability. But actually, we do it very purposefully. So basically, our engineering teams work hand in hand with our customers to solve specific challenges that they are facing in their day-to-day. So one example would be just making the ERP conversational and saying, "Hey, can you run, this part that I shipped last Tuesday? Where did I ship it to?"
Right.
So things like that, where you can run a query normally, or you would have to run a query manually. Now, all of a sudden, somebody that has no idea how to even use that system can ask that question verbally or just type it out and then get that answer in seconds, versus having to open an IT ticket and like going through, or like calling the ERP expert to access some dashboard that I may not know of. So that's kind of probably the core of it. Another is what we call the knowledge agent, which is part of Prism. And the knowledge agent is basically access to all of our user training and user data. So you can basically ask it how to do anything in the system. So you could say, "Hey, how do I open, or how do I take this action inside of the ERP, or how do I, kick off an MRP run," or whatever it is. Like we actually it'll tell you and it'll explain it to you in a way that you can understand, and it'll also reference the documents that you can go to. There's a number of other things that we've done, as well as our ECM agent as well, which is enterprise content management. So what it does is it allows you, so a lot of our customers already store a lot of their documentation inside of our ECM product. Well, now this agent allows you to basically conversationally understand what's in those documents. And sometimes it's thousands of pages, right? So it's like having superpowers, because now you can kind of answer things that maybe before you had to go digging or finding the expert in the company. But yeah, high level, those are like the big functionalities.
So say more about the functionality for training purposes, for kind of like taking all of those documented processes and putting it in a very like quick way that you can just, hey, I need to know how to do this, or I don't know where this is. We are evolving in how people learn and how new technicians and how engineers really understand how to do their jobs. Talk a little bit about how like streamlining those processes kind of can help people in the trades and on the plant floor do their jobs better.
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think like one of our core or something that's core to our mission is, we always say, like, empowering the worker and keeping the human in the middle. Like, what we want to do is we want to kind of take the repetitive and mundane off of the human, so that people can focus on what they're good at, which is creativity and the strategic, right? And so, yeah, just like you rightfully say, people, it's kind of like you're trying to, if you might be new at the job, and you're trying to like take an action or you're trying to get to an outcome on the factory floor, or you might be trying to run some report for your boss because there's a reason that someone needs something. And it's always like we end up, I don't want to say wasting time, but we end up learning we end up like more time on learning how to pull that data than like actually pulling the data, right? When the valuable part is pulling the data, not learning how to pull the data.
Exactly.
So for us, we're kind of turning that on its head, because now our customers are saving tens and tens of hours every week. And so what it's doing is it's freeing up people to do the more strategic things, where it's like, okay, now I have the data, now I can make a decision, or now I can talk to somebody that knows that, so we can make a decision together.
Right.
So that's kind of what we like to say is, like, these 10x gains in efficiency are really going to lead to 100x gains in innovation, because now organizations can start moving a lot faster. Right.
Absolutely. Talk a little bit about human in the loop. We talk a lot about that in AI. From the Prism AI, standpoint, like, how do you view human interaction with the AI? What can the AI learn from interacting with the person who's inputting all of that data and asking all of those questions?
Yeah, so I think it's a combination of the AI learning, but then also the people learning. So, it's the user kind of learning how the AI works and how it best answers questions. But then it's our engineering teams learning how to best design the user experience, right? So that to get to those outcomes, because at the end of the day, the end user is always going to be a person, right? And so to us, that's what matters. And so we want it to be human. We want it to be intuitive. Everything starts with the user experience. So that's kind of our philosophy with that. A big part of it is kind of, whenever we answer a question, or maybe the AI calculates something, show your work, right? So like, that's kind of what we do, is we show where it's coming from. What was the logic that it followed to get to that answer? And I think part of that too is working with our customers and saying, like, okay, yes, now you can do things that much faster, but maybe spend the extra 30 seconds just to make sure that, hey, indeed it is doing something that makes sense, right? So that's what we mean by human in the loop, always having a person that's checking what the AI is doing.
Absolutely. Yeah, we talk a lot about, AI being able to pinpoint problems. How important is the human in sort of correcting the AI? I think we're at a point now where AI is not perfected, and people are still required to step in and say, no, that's not the path I want to take.
Yeah.
How far off are we from AI being able to make the better decision?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. To me, it's really difficult to answer, though, because it's like, how good is it going to get? I don't know. I honestly think there will always be a person involved in the decision, whether it's as a partner with the AI, or as its QA, or you're assuring that it's taking the right steps. the way that we build products is always the AI isn't making the final decision. The AI gives you an opinion, gives you what it thinks, but it lets the expert kind of make that decision. And what we believe is, because I know there's a lot of fear of, job displacements and all of that. But I think if anything, jobs will change and we'll be able to do a lot more than we did before.
Right.
So again, focusing on the strategic, focusing on the creative. So being an expert in supply chains, being an expert in sales, being an expert in kind of these human interactions or these processes, that is what's going to allow you to be a better creative mind that can then challenge what the AI is doing or use it or improve what the AI is doing. So I think that will be the new role kind of people.
Right, absolutely. Talk a little bit about, predictive maintenance, preventive maintenance, where the AI can say, hey, you have, a lot of scrap, and here is where the problem is, or we see that there's a lot of waste here. Talk a little bit about how AI is kind of revolutionizing, a maintenance plan, or how you might want to kind of shift your supply, like your supplier, or change the way that you kind of run your business. Talk a little bit about how the machine can help you troubleshoot. Let's simplify that. Troubleshoot.
Yeah, I can simplify that. So I think Prism AI, what it does, what it revolutionizes is the way you interact with the system. So kind of getting to those answers without needing to how do I fill out a form? Where do I need to click? What screens do I need to click? Do I need to code something, right? So that's what it's fundamentally changing. Now, on the other part of our portfolio is what we're doing in the Grow Data Platform and Grow AI, which we also launched here at Insights this year. So that is a lot more focused on bringing in data into the data platform that yes, we have in the ERP, right? But then also actually bringing in third kind of tertiary data that you might want to marry up with your ERP data to get to whatever insight. Like you said, it could be IoT data for predictive maintenance or whatever other use case. But then actually giving you the ability to create machine learning models and predictive learning models in the Grow Data platform itself. And then once you have these learning models, the Prism agents can actually then leverage those models to get to a conclusion. So when you ask, and a question may be, hey, which of my machines am I at risk for needing to shut down to maintain? And now the agent can then access that machine learning model, run it, and it can answer your question. Absolutely. So I think that's kind of the way that we're building it out. So if you think about it, there's the cloud, and there's the Grow Data platform and its machine learning capabilities, and then above all of that is the Prism agentic network that kind of allows you to transverse all your data and get to an outcome. Yeah,
absolutely. There are a lot of manufacturers that are kind of afraid of AI and they don't want to automate anything. What is your advice to them? Are they getting left behind? Are they being less competitive?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as if anything, what's happening with reasoning models and large language models, it is very revolutionary. Like I said before, kind of like the touch screen or mobile before it. I mean, think about it today, right? It's kind of impossible to imagine someone going through their day-to-day without a smartphone or without right? Whatever your favorite phone is, whether it's Android or whatever. So I think what will happen is we'll face something very similar, but especially on the business side of things and in the supply chain, where companies that are at the forefront of cloud, AI, and different just digital capabilities, robotics, right? Because there's physical AI too that we haven't touched on. But the companies that are better equipped to thrive in that environment will be the separation of winners and losers and here in the near future. I think probably 5 years it is my probably prediction that I would say is AI will be ubiquitous in business.
Absolutely. You mentioned the physical, like talk about robotics and how, you know, the AI is the machine, the brain to the machine. You know, how is that advancing, and how is that going to have an impact on manufacturing, the supply chain, distribution, you know, all the things.
So obviously, you know, that's a very interesting topic. We at Epicor, we actually work with a lot of IoT devices and different robotics or different tools that our manufacturers use. My background is actually in robotics. I spent many years building autonomous robots for various industrial applications. I think physical AI, what that will involve, and I think that's the next revolution, is like, think of it this way: is like if we were to roll a ball off this table, you would understand that, oh, the ball fell, so it's probably on the ground behind the table. Well, an AI doesn't know that because it doesn't understand all of that. To it, the ball disappeared. So that kind of physical AI, the AI being able to understand the physical world, and then what's that going to lead to? Self-driving, maybe even robotics within the factory floor, where I think we've seen kind of like Tesla's robots and stuff, right? Like these humanoid robots that can complete tasks.
Right.
I think, we're going to see more and more of that. But again, that can be scary, because like you could think like, oh, you know, we're going to replace like human jobs and things. But if anything, I think human jobs will change, and we'll be able to do a lot more than we could before.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, look into the future. Can you see a future where, you know, cobots and, you know, AMRs and, you know, robotic arms are literally running your factory? Is that even in the foreseeable future?
I think very much in the foreseeable future. I think it will happen. I think if anything, it'll allow distributors, manufacturers to manufacture, distribute that much more stuff. It'll allow people to focus on creating that much more new things. I think if anything, you know, I'm very positive about the AI revolution. I see it as a renaissance of human creativity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Arturo. This has been a great conversation. We really appreciate it.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.